Hey, you crazy cats, welcome to Leaving Crazy Town, where we navigate the roller coaster of relationships, mental health, and personal transformation with humor as our trusty seatbelt.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and with my buddy Finn, we're here to share our real stories, expert insights, practical tips to help you break free from codependency, reclaim your life, and find freedom.
So whether you're wrestling with boundary issues, craving connections that won't ghost you, or just here for a front row seat to the wild ride of self-discovery, you've come to the right place.
So buckle up, we're leaving Crazy Town.
Hey, welcome to Leaving Crazy Town with Finn and Sarah. Today we're going to talk about control. Controlling behavior. Actually, who Finn used to 100% be. I don't know if I told you guys this before I'm pretty sure I did. That when my friends and I, or my wife and my friend Charlene, we were going through the codependent, co-crazy behaviors, and it was all like this passive stuff, and I was like, you two people are, you're codependent.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we turned the page to the controller, and I was like,
Yeah. This is why
I had no idea it was co-crazy.
I know, this is why we're going to talk about control, you guys, because I have met a bunch of people over the years talking about codependency.
They're not codependent.
No, number one, they're not codependent. Number two, they're not controlling. Because people have these visions of how we manage control and how, like, the classic one is you'll see some, like, codependent, anxious woman at Thanksgiving trying to, like, manage everybody and make them happy and people-pleasing and all that.
The martyr?
Okay, the martyr, the victim,
All right.
the classic kind of controlling person. Or, like Finn just said, someone that's really angry, critical, criticizes,
I don't think I said
blames.
that. I said I was controlling. I didn't say I was angry.
All right, I'm just saying there's like...
No, but we're going to bust through a list, right?
Yeah, we're going to go through a list of ways you control people. And so try to identify, geez, do you do that? Because there's passive ways, there's angry ways.
Right. And we're going to interject. So if they seem like something somebody might not think is controlling, we might give an example.
Okay.
We're just going to shoot these really fast at you, quick video, and we're going to throw out some examples. All right, number one,
manipulate people. I mean, that's kind of in the definition, right?
Oh, no.
Okay. Threaten, yell, get angry.
I don't know that one, but that is a way to control. How many people say, well, I got to do this or that because they're going to get angry?
Right, and I think about with children, a lot of times parents, because we get so stressed out. I know I've seen parents just like yell, hey, Jimmy, get that. Well, it's because we're afraid and we don't want them doing a certain behavior. And obviously, if you need your kid to be safe, it's one thing. But, parenting tip, if you're getting angry a lot, just look at how scared you are.
And also, I don't know if anybody's ever dealt with the unpredictable anger person, where as a child, for me, I would try to anticipate what would get me beat.
Yeah.
And my friends and I talk about this all the time, is the crazy thing is you never knew. So one day doing a particular thing a certain way was okay, and the next day it made someone mad. And then, you just never knew. That unpredictable rage was crazy.
Absolutely. And, that really is such a great example of where codependency comes from. If you grow up and you don't know what's happening and your parents are unpredictable, you're going to learn to do some of these things because you're trying to control your environment to feel safe. So, you know what? The thing is, these origins of these ways you control, have compassion for yourself. Absolutely, there's a reason for them. But the thing is, knowing now they don't get you what you want, and they also affect negatively your relationships.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Let's not carry the cycle.
No carrying the cycle. Okay, overtalk, interrupt, incessant talking. You're just talking about that. Okay, so if you're constantly interrupting someone or you overtalk people and you don't listen, think about what's hard about just being with what I'm feeling right now. Why can't I just listen to that person? Typically, you're trying to control what's going on in your own body.
And control what they're about to say or do.
Yes, very good. Okay, passive aggressiveness. I don't know if everybody knows what that is.
Oh, you want to leave at 12 today? Okay.
Right. Passive aggressiveness, I always say, is the person that's, what is the saying? You always feel when the person leaves like crap, but you don't know why. because they say something and it's done in this bizarre way.
They like poison the environment, but
Right.
they don't let you know they're the ones that did it.
You know what? This is what it is. Passive aggressive people never go to therapy, but the people that are passive aggressive with are always in therapy because we're always thinking we're crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Avoidance and denial. So I can control something by avoiding it or denying it, right? Which affects my codependency. Example, I can deny how someone's treating me because I don't want to speak up, for example. I can avoid what?
Anything.
Yeah, anything. Anything. Oh, let's move on. All right. Physical problems.
Oh, some people are always having physical problems and they draw you in. You know, they manage you by their issues.
Yes, very good. Okay. Constant crisis creation, big drama. Okay. You control your environments by overreacting to stuff. Okay. If someone says something and you go into a rage, that's going to control how other people are going to
I
respond
also
to
used
you.
to control relationships that way when I was younger because it was the only thing. I didn't know that you could go and talk to your friend and spend time with them and have fun. I only knew drama and problems. So I would have to have a problem. And I remember when I got sober and I did the steps, I was like, oh, how am I going to interact with people if I don't have drama or problems?
Yes.
So much nicer when you get used to it.
So much nicer. You guys know people like this. You guys know people that are always in crisis. Why? Because they are either trying to control what they're feeling or controlling their environment. Okay. Threaten to abandon or pull away love. Okay. God,
That's obvious.
Yeah. Constantly telling someone what to do and how to do it. I mean, that's the classic one, right? Chronic criticism, acting out in addictions, financial control. Oh boy, baby.
Holding the purse strings, baby.
Yeah. We could do an episode on every single one of these, by the way. Nagging, begging, pestering. So if this is another kind of classic codependent behavior. I'm going to keep bugging you to get sober, but I'll never say to you, you need to move out. I'll just bug you for 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. You know.
I'll never actually take a stance.
Yeah. And those just don't work for anybody.
I actually ended up writing another 4-step in my recovery program because I thought my wife should write another 4-step. So I kept bugging and
Trying to control.
I would try to manipulate her by doing it myself. Look
So
at me.
good.
Oh, I'm going to write on my 4-step.
Oh, this
you know,
is so
and then
good.
after she passed away and I thought it would be a good idea, I got 2 pages in to read her journal. It literally said on the very first page, if Finn mentions me writing a 4-step again, I will never, ever, ever do it. That's what pestering gets you. It doesn't get you the outcome. Hindsight, I should have just gone to Al-Anon.
There's nothing that needs to be said. That is such the perfect example of how well that works. Okay.
It didn't work.
Right. Perfect. Okay. Where am I? Giving unwanted advice. Oh, people love this one.
Yeah. Did they ask?
Did they ask? And this is the thing. Say it once and zip it. Okay. When my son was leaving the house when he was like 20, I immediately go, do you have a coat? And then he looks at me and I literally look at him and I go, you're 20. You can make that.
And do you have a coat? Like, you're his mother. Wouldn't you know if he had a coat or not? It wasn't even like a direct question. Like, why don't you wear a coat or whatever? Do you have a coat? No, but thank you for not providing one, mother.
And this is the thing about codependency. Who is it always about?
You.
Us. Okay.
What would happen if you got cooled?
It's just so
To you?
insane.
What was
I
going
get
to happen to
it.
you?
It's
Oh my God, my son's uncomfortable. And then,
and P.S. He wears shorts in the winter. I mean, so it's ridiculous.
but I mean,
The whole
it comes
thing is
down to
ridiculous.
like you, why?
Me. Yes.
I like to look at it like that's somewhat of a ridiculous one, and Sarah's aware. But
right.
I love to say to myself, like, why do you like? What would happen if that particular thing I'm trying to control actually happens?
Yes.
And a lot of it really has nothing to do with the incident at all.
Yes, and you know what I want? I have a good, quick example of this too that I noticed, and this is one that will come up with you guys. So say you're talking to a really good friend of yours, okay? And they start talking about something that you know bothers them, you know they have feelings about. You've actually maybe even talked about it before. Maybe you've even given advice before about it. But in that moment, you have the realization, really nothing I've said has been helpful. And yet the desire, I guess this happened to me the other night. Okay, yeah. Yet the desire is there to want to fix it. and give advice. But now I've had this experience over time that that's not what my friend needs. My friend just needs me to listen. Now, obviously, if, you don't have to listen forever if it's a different situation, but just notice that I wanted to give some type of advice again. And I thought it through almost like a drink. I thought it through and thought, this never works. It creates anger. I feel like a jerk, so just change that behavior.
And ask yourself, too, like, if they didn't ask for your input,
why am I activated?
Why do I want to say something? And ask yourself, how much do I love unsolicited advice?
And you know what you just reminded me of, too, is that one is really not about my friend. My wanting to give advice to her is really about my past and my alcoholic mother that I tried to save, like to do a deep dive. Because that need, I literally felt a little activation. And that's what it is. I meant to say that. It's looking at what is it about me that I feel like I need to give advice. All right.
It's like, you're okay, I'm okay, where we just need to be okay.
We just need to be okay.
All right.
Oh my God,
Quick.
that's good. Okay,
We gotta buzz.
here we go. We got to
That's a good
finish.
one, isn't it? I'm so brilliant.
Okay,
Said
give
that
me the one advice. Doing things for them that they should be doing. Oh my God. People pleasing, overly accommodating.
Shutting down.
Shutting down. Not having sex or controlling with sex. Okay? One or the other. Not accepting reality. So being in denial.
Yesing someone continuously.
Just saying yes to everything. Oh my God. And I tell you what that equals? A rage machine.
Rigid boundaries. Now, this is an interesting one because we were talking about that earlier. Rigid boundaries for me always were about being safe.
Yes.
And sometimes when you think of boundaries like, oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. But what the other thing I was thinking about is like very black and white beliefs, like boundaries around beliefs about things about myself or the world or the way it is. And having to have them remain that way kept me safe.
Yes.
And today I see how it did not serve me at all. It must have when I was a child because I was able to create the boundaries I needed.
Right.
But today as an adult, they become more like roadblocks than boundaries.
Yes.
And
yes.
So I try to look at those because I know that's something I use to feel safe.
Very good. And avoiding conflict. Yeah. So that's this list. And so what we want you guys to do is think about that list. Think about which ones you do most often, and then what it is about it that can be controlling. How do you use this behavior to be controlling in a relationship? And then even do a deeper dive and say, what does this issue remind me of? Did I learn this tool when I was little? Because like Finn just said, we learn things to feel safe. But the thing is, we're now adults.
Now, just one last thing.
Go ahead.
Some of you out there, because I know this from personal experience, are thinking, I know people that do this stuff. That's not what Sarah asked you to do.
We're just codependent.
We're just codependent. She asked you to think about where this shows up in your life. If you say it doesn't, great, good for you. You probably don't need our videos. But don't delude yourself into that scenario where you're like thinking about all the other people in your life that do this stuff, because that is not where recovery and freedom are found.
Amen. And lastly, I'm going to say this. This just reminds me of so often I would recommend a codependency book or give a codependency book to a client. And literally,
why? Because they have someone in their life that needs it, or because they did?
Because they did. But what would happen is 2 weeks later, they'd say, I gave it to my husband. Or I gave it to my best friend, because that's codependency.
Yeah.
We think it's about everybody else rather than us. So we love you. Look at your controlling behaviors. No shame. Fasten your seatbelt.
We're out of here.
We're out of here. Thanks for listening to Leaving Crazy Town. We hope today's episode offered you valuable insights and tools to help navigate your relationship.
If you found our discussion helpful, please rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast. And share it with a friend. Misery loves company, right?
Stay connected with us on social media and visit our website for additional resources and updates on future episodes.
Until next time, remember that breaking free from codependency is a journey, and we're here to help you every step of the way. And hey, if all else fails, at least you'll have a few laughs.
So buckle up. We're leaving Crazy Town.